Alright guys, this is Guan here, and I'm going to play Dark Souls Prepare to Die Edition. This is like actually the PC version. I'm using a PlayStation 3 controller plugged into my USB port, and I have a bit of software that will let me do that. But it's also detected as a actual Xbox 360 controller, so there's a bit of magic going on there. Well, this is actually Dark Souls, and as I said a few times in my other videos, I will really love this game, and I wanted to do a let's play of it, but I couldn't because my computer is so slow. And sadly, nothing's changed in that regard because my computer is still a piece of shit. And I did a wee test run there, and the FPS doesn't suffer that much with having fraps on, so it might be playable. It's just barely, like, just about playable without fraps. And fraps lowers it a wee bit, so it could be a bit ropey at times, so we'll see how we get on. But I'm basically, what I want to do here is actually just play Dark Souls in the easiest way I know how, because this game is legendarily, it's really hard. Probably not as hard as the original Demon Souls, which is another game I love, which was like the prequel to this game. Not in story, but also in thing, style. And I'm going to play this the easiest way I know how, and like, basically over level content, get the best gear in my opinion. Like, you know, everything's opinions in this, you know what I mean. There's a million ways to play this game. The only really build that's not viable is probably Archer build, I'd say, because I have tried that and it has never really worked for me. But this is going to be like a melee heavy build, very little magic, maybe like the odd miracle or something, maybe the odd miracle, and it'll be probably the easiest way to play it. Be over leveling content, grinding a wee bit in the early game, just to make the game easy. As I said, a lot of people will probably say this will distract from the fun of Dark Souls because it's a game about difficulty or whatever. But I'm the type of gamer who likes to sort of like use my knowledge that I maybe pick up during my first couple of playthroughs and just apply it. So then when I come back, I can sort of dominate it with my, you know, with better game sense and better knowledge. So that's just how I like to play games. It's like I get a lot of fun out of just, like, you know, ponying content again with a beefy character, you know, like a character is really strong. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to try and play this and hopefully you enjoy. And I'm not saying I'm not going to die. I do play this game a lot, and I'm not saying I'm not going to die, because you do die in this game even if you have played it. Most times I'll die to fall damage because that's just the way this game rolls. Sometimes I roll right off the edge, but anyway, here we go. Without further ado, I'm going to make a character, and the speed of that loading screen is not a good sign. Holy flop! I think Steam is like downloading 500 mega, like 5 million. Jesus, this is so bad. Might have to pause this here. Steam is like downloading freaking gigabyte of update for Dota 2, which likes to do that every once in a while. I'm actually typing here, so I wonder how long it took the game to realise this. Like, what the fuck? Right, I'm gonna knock this off here and see what the hell is going on. Alright, let's try this again. Okay. Look, what is going on with this typing and like this thing is just killing it, man. Dark. Woo. I'm trying to enter a character name. There we go. I think it was just me being stupid. Not too unusual there. Alright then. Get the sex, male or female. In this game it doesn't really matter. Changes the look of a few armors and stuff. And dead in the original Demon Souls there was a few changes, like certain, like the female could use certain type of armor or something, and vice versa for one of the other armors. But in this game, I think, as far as I know, it doesn't really matter apart from the look, as I said. So whatever you fancy playing aesthetic wise. Usually I sometimes just play female. It's probably about 50-50 to be honest. I don't really care, because most times you're just decked out in heavy armor anyway. You don't even get to see the face. This is pretty important, like, and in this game, like, this is more Origin, so like it doesn't really matter what your starting class is. It just sort of affects the starting stats, as you can see in the left there. You know what I mean? So it's just the origin, so it's sort of like the path you want to take. It's sort of just pick the one that suits you the most at the start. Deprive probably being the only example of this. Is like a deliberate hard mode is the Deprive, because he starts off with absolute crap gear, as you can see. He's just a big naked weirdo, and the stats are completely unspecified, and there's just a complete joke of a class. Like, so finally, for my build, I think it's sort of a toss up, but I think it's between the between the Knight and the Bandit, I believe, is good for me. The Power Master is another good class because he starts off at level 1, so it gives you the most sort of like customization, if you know what I mean. It gives you the most like he's at a more base level, so it sort of like lets you put your points in, you know, closer to what you want. And he starts off with Fireball and whatever, so he's kind of, the Power Master is probably good for, you know, if you're totally new to the game. But I like the Bandit. Actually, I think the Bandit suits my build the most, because the Bandit has a good lot of vitality, good lot of endurance, good lot of strength, and the stats that I won't be using much, like dexterity, intelligence, are kept at a minimum. And yeah, so he pretty much has everything I need, really. And his shield is pretty good because it sort of stops poison damage going through the shield, and his axe is pretty good damage. But as I said, this is only the origin anyway, so it doesn't really have a big burn on the game in general. This is another weird one, the gifts. You can pick different gifts, like as you can see, you can just go through and see what they do. Most of them are pretty useless. Like, I think there's one that actually is literally useless. Yeah, the old witch's wing. I always like the master key because it sort of opens up areas in the game earlier, and if you're like skilled enough and like tenacious enough, you can that sort of reaps rewards. Physique is just how you look, you know, whatever. I usually, if I'm playing a male character, I usually go for a heavy upper body, because that's what I'm like in real life, yo. Yeah, right. So go for the face, don't really care. I usually just randomize the face, to be honest. Let's see, let's go with that. Let's go customize. Random. Yeah, let's go with that. And then I'm just gonna leave him bald, man. Honestly, I would sort of play around with a female character a bit more, but I just can't be asked. It's too early in the morning for me. So let's get the fuck out of here. Right? Okay. So without further ado, we're going to enter the game. I believe the sequence will play the main intro, so hopefully it will anyway, because it's something that's quite spectacular. Like, yes, I will start the game.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, large trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity, heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. The first of the day. The witch of Asylum and her daughters of chaos. Gwyn, the lord of sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty lords heaped apart their stone skills. The witches moved great firestorms. fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. The man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side.
Okay, that was slightly worrying that the intro sequence was laggy for me. That's a bit disturbing. Considering I find it plays off an FMV, like, so it's not a good sign. So this is basically what we're doing now is the tutorial. Well, there's no real.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, she's agreeing with me.
The
So.
dark side brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world.
It's the bandit!
This is your fate.
Alright then, so we were left here to basically die forever, become a soul-starved soul, or whatever the hell, I'm not sure, terminology in this game is a bit weird, and some guy just gave us the key to get out of here, which is quite nice of him. So, we don't have any equipment now, we have a broken sword, and we're going to leave this cage. Whee! Here we go, and this is a message you can read, sort of like tutorial messages. And here's a dude, he won't actually attack us, so it's just sort of like get used to attacking for our broken sword. As you can see, I'm just doing a standard attack. Boink. There's two attacks really. Sort of like your normal attack and then your heavy attack. And you can do parries and backstabs and all that sort of good stuff. It's pretty interesting the way this game works. As you see in the bottom right, I got 20 souls for killing that guy. Souls in this game is kind of cool. It's like in most RPGs, it's kind of like you have your money and your experience. This game is kind of like one. Your souls buys you levels and also items and stuff. And we can see here one of the demons in there who's some guy we do not want to mess with right now. So we're going to walk on here. You can kill these guys you want for the 20 souls or whatever. I don't really think it's worth it. It's just a waste of time really. It's a drop in the bucket. Sorry, drop in the ocean to say. Compared to what you get later on. So we're just going to ignore these guys. So as I said, it's basically the tutorial area. And you can see his message here, and there's the bonfire, which will, it's like checkpoints. Checkpoints, so you can sort of warp to these later on. And this is where you level up, and it's just like, fills your flasks up. Flasks are like your hit point regenerating item that have a set limit that you can use, so sort of like, you have to be pretty careful. Make sure you keep some flasks to use for hit points. If you run out of them, you're gonna die pretty quick. Let's make fat demon. Make it. It's kind of funny when this game first came out. You've seen a lot of people getting caught out by that guy, like, so it's kind of funny, like. Here's another checkpoint. Yoink. And more tutorial messages. And we have where we pick up our first bit of gear here. So it's just like our starting item. Just get shot in the face. Slash arm. We're gonna run up here. You little bastard! I'm gonna kill you! Will I find you? And then you get your axe. Okay, so we got our starting items now. Boink. Boink. Okay, so we got our shield, which can block, and then parry. The heavier shields in the game don't have a parry, they have like a smash attack. This isn't as useful in my opinion, but whatever. So we got our axe here, our battle axe, and we're going to cut this. We're going to get shot right in the eyeball by this little dude. The lag is quite annoying though. That's my excuse. the gamer's excuse since 1990. I suck because of the lag, because I'm a dude, they suck. Alright then. So, we have a trap here, which probably caught a few people out. I don't think it actually caught me, I think I actually seen this one coming when I first played this game. So, if you couldn't see it because it was dark, a big ball just got pushed down the wall and pushed in there. And this is the guy here who gave us the key to get out.
I wish to ask something. You and I both found good. Hear me out.
Nah, you might as well just hear him out. You can't actually kill him for correctness.
I had a failed illumination, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There was an old saying in my family. Thou art undead art chosen. In thine exodus from the undead asylum, make of pilgrimage to the land in which is yours. When thou ringest the bell of awakening, the faith of the undead art shaken. Will now know, and I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask, an undead figment. Oh, and this. Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
Alright there, so you just give us the Estus flask I was telling you about. So it's basically, as I said, it's a hit point. We generate time, as you can see. Boink. And as you can see, the number below it has charges, so and they fill up at the bonfire, so like once you get to the checkpoint you get your flask back. And this guy just croaks it, he's like, oh, got pwned. Even though I was wearing full knight armor, I got pwned by these little hollows. And then try and do the parry here, which I fail at miserably because I'm lagging. Boink. Anyway, it's actually hard to parry those guys because it actually attacks so slowly. It's kind of hard to time it correctly. We've got plenty of messages on the floor here. As I said, later on players can write messages, but these are all from, I think these are all from the developers. Jesus Christ. I cannot parry right now. You can lock on here as well, which is kind of useful, especially if you want to use like spells and arrows and stuff. Take that, bitch! Oh, of course, I didn't explain, like, you can actually hit triangle on the PlayStation joypad and you go two-handed, so you will. Which is quite nice. Thank you. Splat! Ah, saves every one of us. Bam, bam. This is like our first main enemy. This guy has actual armor. And we actually parried that guy. So that's like a critical, and that hits pretty hard. If you manage to parry somebody, it hits hard. And I think actually sometimes it gives you more experience for killing people like that, so it's sometimes useful. And now we're gonna kick the flippin'. Whoa, that was weird. But for the fall very slowly. So now you can do a plunging attack on top of this guy, which is quite significant damage. In your face! In your face! Yeah! Okay, so that guy is pretty weak. So now we just have to finish him off. As you can see, the two-handed axe actually is pretty hard. This guy likes to try and do his big fat jump on you. But he's too slow. I'm just gonna cut me some fat man. Cut me some fat monster. And there you go. That's the tutorial monster kill. It's amazing, like, when this game first came out, how many people died to that guy. But I actually never found it that hard because I played a lot of Demon Souls, and Demon Souls, as I said, is pretty much exactly the same game as this. Only this one's slightly better. Although Demon Souls was amazing as well. Boink. There is an item around here, but as I said, 9 times out of 10 when I die in this game is because I fall off somewhere, so just keep that in mind. Because with the FPS and all being so slow, it's kind of like you don't really react quick enough in the directions. Hey, here's your Soul of the Lost and Dead, which isn't very useful. That's like you sort of like carry your souls, so you can sort of use them on the fly. You sort of like pop that thing and it'll give you some souls. And here we go. Yay!
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
There's some people actually speculate. Should probably shut up now, actually. And there we have it, folks. We're in Lordran. It's like the hub. Firelink Shrine. It's kind of like a hub. It's like the safe area in the game. Well, mostly safe. This game is a bit of a confusion for new players because it was kind of like, as you can see, there is a ghost of another player. As I am online, so other players can invade my world and stuff. I'll probably explain that later. There's so much intricate details in this game. It's kind of hard to explain it all. But this is Lordran. This is like the Firelink Shrine. This is like the hub. It's kind of hard. It's a new player. It's kind of hard to see like when you first play this where to go and stuff and what the correct path is. I know I struggled with it very much at the start of the game. So this is actually a slightly more kindled version of the bonfire. So it gives me 10 flasks. 5. You get this red kindling later on, and it actually lets you buff the bonfires to 20, so they give you 20 flasks, which is pretty useful. Not in the first game, but New Game Plus, and New Game Plus, and New Game Plus, and significant other pluses. It's just when you beat the game, and it gets harder the next time you play for it. So it's just like a way to keep the game more difficult or whatever. Keep it difficult, and you can keep playing or whatever. So didn't really explain that very well, but whatever. So anyway, so I'll probably take this time to just explain a few things, how this game works. You have your items here. Boink. As I said, I picked up that lost soul of the Lost and Dead. If I use that there, it'll just give me 20 souls. 200, sorry. Got the keys, items, armor and weapons and stuff. Your arrows, armor, and rings. And here's where you equip these things out. So it's like where arrows go, bolts go here. Your quick slot usable items, which is what I'm doing here. Hitting 2 or down. So you can quickly snap between different items you want to use. And then you get your rings that don't have any in, and your weapons and shields and stuff. So when you look at armor, you have these different stats here. You have physical defense, which is then broken down into types of physical. So it's like this armor is very good against slash, not very good against thrust. And you have your magic defense, which is against magic attacks, and fire defense, and light defense. As you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. Poise is pretty important. It's poise, I should say. It's pretty important because if you get hit, it's like a stun animation. So you know you don't want to get like, if you have no poise and you get hit by a massive poise like attack, you will actually, your character will literally fly down and land on his ass, and it's completely just a pain in the ass. In fact, I find it really hard to play characters with no poise because you just get stun locked and you can actually die very quickly from that. So I like to have a bit of poise. That's why I like to favour heavy armor. Which poise tends to be on heavy armor, of course. Bleed resistance is like a status you can get. It resists against that. Obviously, poison's the same, curse is the same. And then you have your weight and your durability. So it's all pretty self-explanatory. Probably the more confusing thing, shields. You get your weapon here, which is pretty much the same. Fuck, no, I'm terrible. You get your thing here. It's a wee bit more confusing. You get your, it tells you what damage it does. Critical. And then it has the damage reduction on the right side. That's actually, if you want, you can actually block with your weapons. So that's actually the block values, which I'll explain a bit more when I look at my shield. You have your power arm bonus, which is a bit more complicated. It took me a while to realise that in the original Demon Souls. it's sort of like stat scaling. So if it's like that first one, the C is strength, and the second one with the hand is dexterity. So this weapon scales with strength and dex, but scales better with strength because it's a C versus a D. Later on, I prefer weapons that have massive strength, so it'll be like an S, an A strength, or an S strength. S being the best, and like, so that means when you pump up your strength, it'll increase the damage quite a lot because it scales quite well with whatever. So whatever style whatever way you want to play your character, or stat you want to make your primary stat, you want a weapon that will like benefit the most from that. So pretty easy there. You can also upgrade your weapons and armor in this game, which makes them slightly better. So that's another thing to keep in mind. There's a lot of stuff in this game, as you can tell. Here's my shield. It does a bit of damage. You can actually attack with your shield, I believe, if you put it in the other slot and hit the charge attack or whatever. So we're not really worried about that. But what's important is the damage reduction. So it has 100% physical, 100%. So that means if I block a physical attack, I will take no damage from it. Magic is 30%, so if I block a magic attack, I will take 70% of the magic damage, which, so 30% is pretty rubbish. Fire, I will block 72%, lightning, you know, so on. The most important thing is probably stability, which is 56. So that means when I do block an attack, I lose stamina, which is that green bar here, the green bar at the top. That's my stamina. If I block an attack, I will lose stamina, and the higher that stability and that shield is, the less stamina I will lose from blocking an attack. So high stability is probably one of the high stability and physical reduction, and whatever element you're looking to block, most important part of shields. Although, as you can see, shields have requirements. The shield requires 10 strength, as you can see it in the bottom there. It says require power arm, 10 strength. All items usually have a requirement of some sort. I don't think armor does. Armor doesn't have a requirement, but it has a weight. As you can see, this armor is pretty light. It has a weight of 3.1 for the chest piece or whatever. So that's another thing I'll explain. There's so much shit in this game. I have, as you can see here, my hit points and stamina, and the equip load is one of the most important things in this game. Equip load is 14.9 out of 54 at the moment, which means that's the weight I have on, the weight I have equipped versus my maximum equipped weight load. Right. So the thing is, now that it's pretty important, I like to stay below 50% of that. My max, I like to stay below 50% of my max equip load, because if you're at the very limit of, if you're over the limit of equip load, you'll basically be encumbered and you won't be able to move. You'll be walking super slow. It's basically unplayable. If you're 75% of the equip load, which I don't know what the maths at the moment is, probably what, like 40 somewhere, like 30 something, 40. you can move, but you're very slow. You're like encumbered, not super encumbered, but you're heavy and you're like kind of dragging your ass around the place. At 50%, you're still a bit slow. You can sort of roll, but it's really slow. You're still a bit slow. As I said, basically I just said like this: every 25% of your max equip load, you will be slower or fast. You know, you will be rolling faster and running faster. It doesn't affect your attack speed, as far as I know, but it'll affect your roll. There's your roll there. That's a pretty fast roll. And it'll affect your run speed. So this is this run speed. As you can see, if I take all my clothes off and run around like a fucking naked one, I'm super light now, so you can see the run's very fast, and that roll is insanely fucking, like, the roll's really fast and goes a pretty good distance. So a lot of players like to play with the max speed they can get. You can actually get a ring that'll change your roll into a ninja flip, which is kind of cool. So I think that's pretty much explained what I need to explain so far. There's just so much depth to this game. It's unbelievable. It's probably the most annoying one to explain is humanity, but I'll probably save that for later because I just can't be asked right now. I probably should just talk you through the stats. Actually, vitality, the stats here, as you can see on the right here. I have my level and the souls, which, as I said, is basically the currency. I have vitality of 12, which is hit points. Right, hit points. Attunement is the amount of magic and miracle slots you have, so you can have like a slot for a magic, like a certain amount of magic spells you can bring with you, sort of thing. Endurance is increases your stamina and equip load, so it's quite useful for me because I wanna be able to have more heavy armor, and I want to have a lot of stamina so I can attack more and I can block more. Strength is, as I said, is required for some items like weapons and shields particularly, And also, as I said, with stat scaling, which I explained on the weapon, will increase the damage if the weapon has a scaling strength stat. And dexterity is pretty much the same. It lets you use certain weapons and certain weapons. I don't know if it does anything else. I think it's just, you know, it's just like strength, only not as useful. Because I don't think that it's just weapons. That, you know, it doesn't affect shields. I don't think it does anything else as far as I know. Resistance is like your natural resistance to like bleed, poison, and curse. Actually, it might just be bleed and poison. I'm not sure if it touches curse. Intelligence is a scaling stat which works with magic, obviously, and it's required for some spells and stuff like that. And then faith is pretty much the same thing. It's faith scales with the miracles and is required for some weapons and stuff. So pretty self-explanatory. I will be going for mostly strength, endurance, and vitality, and maybe some faith if I have the points. Alright guys, I'm actually tired from talking so much, and I'm going to stop the video here, and I'll see you in the next video guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.